you, bitches.
Welcome back to the Five Dirty Bikers podcast.
Presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And wild ass seats. Stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
That is entirely too long.
Dude, I was just sitting here thinking, I always want to get up and dance and sing when I hear that intro. It's
I just want to fucking turn off the computer and leave because that's hard to follow.
It's only 1 minute.
Hey,
That's what she said.
you're actually talking shit about yourself, Tony. Like you're about your own. I suck.
He's so used to us doing it that he just gives it to himself.
This is fucking donkey dicks in here.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the side chat. Welcome to FDB Live. We're here with Professional Monkey. Take a bow.
Why?
Yeah.
We want to make sure you're wearing pants.
There you go.
he can't get any lower than what he is right now. He's already kind of like.
I'm right in the middle of my square.
He's centered up. You're just too fucking big, Percy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're just too big.
Yeah.
I can zoom in on myself here. Hang on. I can do this. Oh yeah, there you go. You want that? Is that better?
On second thought, can you zoom back out,
Can we
please?
zoom out now? I don't know how. There's only one button, so we're screwed.
There ain't no going back.
I always prefer the long lens. If something can look longer, I'm in.
Now you can't see my TV anymore because
I know.
in so
You
much.
look,
Whatever.
you fucked up your whole flow. You had
You
it
know,
all right. Yeah, it's all
well,
fucked. Everything's fucked here, man.
I don't have the demonic glow behind me like Tony does. I'm jealous.
Oh, it's orange. I'm going to change
changing.
color.
Now it's orange.
Orange is good.
Orange is good. I thought Harley orange.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking.
Adds a nice hue to your skin.
You know, all you all punch my fucking balloon knot.
And it's how we start Monday night.
Happy Monday.
Everybody, we're gonna talk. We're gonna ask TJ some questions about Sturgis because the five of us haven't been. We are planning to go at some time, whether it's at the rally or not. But we got questions, and we know he's got answers. He's been going for a long time.
If I don't have an answer, I'll just make one up. So go right ahead.
That's fine.
Well,
That's what we do 98% of the time.
That's true.
Ron and I have been to Sturgis not for the rally,
Right.
Yep.
right?
Like riding season at all or winter? Because I know people who've been to Sturgis in like January.
No, I went in with my son last June. Had a blast, or June before last.
Okay, yeah.
Had a blast. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The weather up there is questionable though, man. Like it has snowed in July.
Yep.
You know, like it's in like a good amount. So
We were up there this year in September and over Labor Day weekend, and we rode through Spearfish Canyon, got to Spearfish City, and it was 103 degrees.
yeah, it's
I mean, it
wild
was-
up there. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally can't predict it.
We've done the rally during the whole week. It was like 50 degrees in 2017. It was like, and that's, you know, no, that's not like cold, but when you've gone 2,500 miles each way and invested thousands of dollars, riding in the 50s for a week was not the plan. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm a Floridian too these days. So I'm wearing helmets and scarves and shit. Like, not happy about this. But, I mean,
50 degrees is cold for you South Florida people.
oh, it's freezing.
Oh,
yeah, no.
fucking
You may as
people
well
are
be wearing
dying.
a parka, you know, at 50 degrees. But it's not that, like, I used to think it was because Floridians were a little weak. Now it's just because we've adjusted to the 110 degree, 99% humidity for 9 months thing. So when I first moved down here, I thought I was going to freaking die first time I walked outside in August. So it's the flip side, you know, like, but there are people who go to the Sturgis outside of the rally that makes total sense that they hate crowds. But I do think you want to come close enough that there's still some stuff there that isn't normally there, because totally outside the rally, it's a tiny ass town. You know, like it's got the beautiful scenery. It's got all the riding. It's not like they close Needles Highway until the rally starts. But there's also a great chance if you go like just 2 weeks before that the vendors will be set up or starting to set up. And that kind of stuff, and the vibes that way, and bands start playing and that kind of stuff. But
what about, see, now I think the riding up there is some of the best riding in the country.
Oh.
Is it? I mean, I've always heard, and again, this is not my experience because I haven't been there. I've been there riding 2 of the last 3 years for multiple days, riding all the roads. And I really like to ride there when there isn't crowds there. Don't the crowds affect your ability to be able to really enjoy some of those roads?
they can if you don't leave early enough. Like I think the worst thing that someone can do to themselves, we refer to it as Sturgising themselves. He got Sturgis last night. That just means he drank a bottle of Jack by 9 p.m. and would then started on the shots. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And so they don't get out of the tent or out of their campground or their hotel room or whatever, and they head to Needles at noon.
Sure.
Well, no, you're screwed. That's just not. It can get hot, so you don't want to be stuck in slow traffic waiting for one of the tunnel drive-throughs when it's 102 up there. Sitting on an embankment like this, if you're not used to clutching from a stop on an angle like that, that's not a place to get stuck doing that. You know what I mean? Like it can be a little sketchy. So you get up and you roll for Needles by 8. Just make sure you're rolling for the good rides in the morning. And then even if there's a lot of bikes on the road, they have no effect on you. I mean, you still got space. You know what I mean? It's not slowing you down.
Right.
And then I think it can be kind of fun to be one of several hundred or thousands bikes rolling on those roads, as long as you're moving at a good clip, because you're kind of experiencing it together.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like when you pull off to the pull-offs where people are checking out the views, you're going to talk to each other. You're going to say like, holy shit, did you see that? And I've had some really funny conversations with dudes at those like pull-offs on Needles Highway and stuff. And if there's no one on there, that would be amazing in a different way. But I do think you might be missing something a little bit,
We rolled in there this year, and the one thing I noticed was that it seemed to me like the city of Rapid City itself, they did something weird on the highway outside of Sturgis, where they funneled the traffic, right? That was not there 2 years ago, where they had the cones set up to funnel the traffic down to one lane for a period of time. It was like there was construction on the road, but there wasn't actually construction on the road.
And what were they doing? They trying to keep people on the road?
Well, you know how the road going into Rapid City, it's like 75 or 80, and then it goes down to 60. But the sign is only as big as a coffee plate. And
it's right over a hill too.
Yeah, where they changed that. Like so they funneled the traffic right there too. So it was like they were intentionally trying to whittle the traffic down to one lane to slow it down as it was all coming into Rapid City.
Could be. Yeah.
So I that was not there 2 years ago, and it looks like they're doing construction, right? But they're not. So it was really just to slow people down.
It's a setup. Every time when I'm on Needles or even in the wildlife loop, the accidents I see are typically someone who just hasn't learned the little weird bits of riding those roads, right? Like, so they'll have 180 switchbacks that have what they call it, a reducing radius road, where you go into a turn set for the turn, and then all of a sudden it tightens on you.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the turn, it will suddenly tighten up, which is a little unique. But there can also be some rather intense embankments. So you're corkscrewing, up or down, which, Tony, don't get excited. It's just a road. Don't get excited.
I mean, you guys were talking about group enjoyment and pulling out and all kinds of stuff. I was like, are we riding here or are we having an orgy? I don't know.
Yes.
Tony, Tony's never experienced that on the way to the gas station. So,
man, you'd be amazed at what happens at the Circle K. That's all I'm saying.
Circle jerk and Circle K. But these switchbacks that are extreme uphills, you can't just you have to pay attention to what the hell you're doing, and you got to make sure it's clear before you go up it. Because what happens is someone gets bogged up, or they decide to stop right there to take a freaking picture or something, and they stop traffic. And if you get stuck on the apex of that turn, and you're on this kind of angle on your bike, and you don't happen to land it right, and you start going to the left, there's no ground. There's nowhere for your foot to go, and you go over. And I've seen a lot of dudes with a lot of experience, drop their bikes, slide down the hill, and end up breaking a leg over something as stupid as not waiting until the turn was clear before they commit.
Out of context, everything that you just said, if you would have taken the word motorcycle out, it sounds like right out of a porn movie.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
I mean, I completely agree with you. One of the things we experienced this year was Iron Mountain Road, which we hadn't done in the past.
Yep.
And Iron Mountain Road has those, I don't even know what they're called, but it's so you can change elevation, that corkscrew kind of ride or whatever that you were talking about. So you can either go up or go down elevation much quicker without having to have a bunch of switchbacks. They just, you go down 30 feet or up 30 feet because of that. And those to me were not as technical because the turn itself is consistent all the way through the corkscrew. Right. So it's like once you find that point, you're good all the way through it, right? So you just ride right through it. So I think one of the things that we had talked about and we wanted your perspective of, and you have history over the course of the years there, is that since motorcycling has changed and motorcyclists have changed, right, with the generations that are coming in, is a Sturgis style rally still relevant with the new generation of riders that are coming in?
I think that it definitely should be. I think that I've met several young dudes, the young couples, young women riders, etc., at the chip, and we'll just start BS. And this is before the channel. This is just us in a crowd standing around listening to music, start talking, and every one of them says, "Well, I didn't know, but I decided to try it, and I will come here the rest of my life." Like now that once they experienced it, they were like, "This is tremendous fun." And they may have been to Daytona, which has no riding and no big concerts. There's good biker acts. You can see Jasmine Kane and Hairball and a couple of these other bands, but you're not going to see Ozzy Osbourne or Snoop Dogg or something like that at a motorcycle rally, at any other rally but Sturgis, pretty much. So you've got the rides all morning, maybe some partying and some smaller acts during the day, Wall of Death, that kind of stuff. And then you see massive concerts at night, rinse, repeat, do it over again, and you do it for 7 days. And I talked to several people in their 20s going, this is freaking awesome. Like, this is really great. And they all thought, well, it's for the old guys. It's for the this, that, and the others. And then they come and they experience it, and it's really not. There's also this expectation that it's a Harley event. Well, not anymore. It was. I mean, when I was a kid, first year we went in 1989, I guess it was, that I went anyway. Across the road at Glencoe, a guy had a Goldwing, and he made friends with a bunch of 1%ers, and he got drunk and passed out, and they disassembled his motorcycle and hung it from a tree like a mobile.
Oh shit!
They didn't hurt anything. They didn't scratch nothing. They didn't hurt nothing. This is back in the days where you don't touch someone's bike. Well, they were touch any bike they want to. Like, so when he woke up, they all thought it was hilarious, and then they helped him take it down and put it back together. And they only had a couple extra bolts, I'm sure, and it was fine. But the thing is, they took this guy's motorcycle apart. That was the kind of thing you did back then. No one's going to do that anymore. No one cares. As a matter of fact, I think you see more and more Harley riders walking up to other bikes going, "What is that? Tell me about it." Just to. They're never going to buy anything but a Harley, some of these dudes, but they're still interested, Sure. But it's not a Harley rally anymore. The sad thing is I still get messages every year saying, "Hey, I'm from this background, whether it be ethnicity, etc. Do you think I'd have a problem with Sturgis?" No. But that reputation also doesn't apply anymore. Like, it's incredibly open and welcoming, and everyone should come and have a good time. It's not a thing,
Good.
What? So we had Doodle on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she kind of dispelled the myth a little bit about safety also, and women themselves, not being safe, when she essentially strapped a hidden camera on and walked around with shorts and a tank top, and that to see what people's reaction were. And it was funny because I think people's opinion of what might have been going on and what actually happened was completely different, right? She was virtually ignored. I mean, no one paid her any more or less attention than they did anybody else that was walking down the street.
But first off, Doodle's awesome. Like, we met her this year at Sturgis, and we hung out, and it was hilarious because she's an ADV writer. She's got a massive channel. But at Sturgis, her audience isn't there as much.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't appreciate or recognize her as often as they do us or some other channels. It's just because her audience is different. That's all.
Right.
So we're at this bar, a bunch of us, and people are asking Doodle to hold the camera and take their picture with us. and the wife and I both were like, "Do you know who that is?" That she just like asked to take the picture, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine. Shut up. Don't worry about it." It's like she's that nice that she has like zero ego. That's not going on.
She's super.
But
cool.
it was just hilarious that she's like a star and no one knows who she was because the Sturgis writer is a little different. But yeah, she's incredibly sweet, very smart, knows what she's doing. And I saw the video about safety, and it's not a thing. And I think it's because the biker community self-polices it more than any other community on earth. Like if someone would have been, as my wife likes to say, because she's 137 years old secretly, if someone were to be fresh with her, as my wife would say,
right.
Someone's going to kill that guy. Like it's going to be. They're going to handle it right then and there, and that's not okay. We don't do that, and it's fine. It really is fine. You might get someone that says, oh, you look nice today, because I feel like that sort of old school mentality is still there. You know what I mean? Like, but they will think they're being complimentary.
Right.
You know what I mean? They won't.
Yep.
So it's that sort of dynamic. But there's not a safety issue there.
This is Bucky is in the chat, everybody.
She can hear you.
I told her, I said, you should be on this tonight. And she's like, nah. Oh, she's with the dog. We got a new puppy recently, and he's a pain in the ass.
I got a new puppy too. What did you get?
Did you?
Yeah.
We got a Rottweiler and
a man's dog.
That's right. Brittany got another hellhound.
I have another poodle. I'm hooked. Poodles for life.
Are they as bad as puppies as
Yes.
Rottweilers are? Because he's a jerk.
I don't know because I've only had poodles, but I mean, so I got a male this time, and he's like
I didn't know there was male poodles.
typical. I mean, how else do you get the poodles? How do you breed them, Tony?
They're asexual. They're like frogs.
They're asexual. They're
like gremlins. One just pops off the back and grows up. Like
don't feed them after midnight.
Yeah, right.
Nature finds a way.
Any dog that you put a ridiculous haircut like that bounces around your yard, you know the dog's thinking, you motherfuckers did this to me. Like, you made me look like this. I used to look like a normal dog. Now I look like this thing with this poofy thing on my tail. Looks like I'm trying to catch something.
I mean, on the male ones, do you like trim up their beanbag, or do you just leave that natural?
I haven't done that yet, so I'll let you know when I get to it. Well, I do the grooming. I do the grooming in the house, so.
Well, good luck with that.
So you cut that ridiculous haircut into your dog?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Give him a mohawk or something. Give him something cool.
Lulu
That
has
is a
a
pretty
mohawk.
badass idea. Right.
The
Mohawk,
puppy,
like
I
blue
haven't.
mohawk, something like that.
That's right. Have
The
you ever so have you ever seen have any of you ever seen a Rhodesian Ridgeback dog?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the scariest things on the planet. They have a natural mohawk that from their tail all the way to the top of their head in about an inch wide swath, the hair grows the opposite direction. So it actually is a mohawk on this dog. They're in Africa, and those fuckers hunt lions. They are crazy looking dogs.
I have a thought though, Brittany. If you were to give your dog a blue mohawk, it might feel like a real man and totally change its whole idea. Like
So
It could.
I think it would.
The puppy does. I haven't done his hair yet because he's only 4.5 months. So I took him to the groomer this time. So
Yeah, well, we named our dog Harley, which actually was my daughter's idea, not mine, shockingly. And he's only 3 months. And my daughter came up to me today and says, I'm going to need you to go with me when I take him out because all he does is bite me.
yeah, that's
about right.
He's at the age. Yep.
I'm like, I go, babe, you have to understand, he thinks you're the other pup in the litter. Like, we're mom and dad, so he doesn't do that to us. But when she takes him out, all he does is bite her legs and knees and shoes and face and whatever you're gonna hold
yeah.
up.
Right. And he's 67 pounds, I suppose, already. And
he's heavy already. He's 3 months old and he's already a sack of potatoes picking him up. He's probably 35, 40 pounds already.
Yeah.
Do you still have those
You might be feeding
razor
him too
puppy
much.
teeth?
Yeah, he'll still have his puppy teeth. They don't lose those until like 6 months.
Those
He
things are
doesn't-
sharp
he's
as
still
hell.
got just gum.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't even have teeth all over his mouth yet. Like
Wow.
Ah,
he's the devil.
you guys missed the other day. So the male puppy, his name's Ripley. He can reach the couch now. He can jump on it. So he like dove across the couch, jumped on top of Jared, and then essentially started teabagging his face.
Poor
I like
Jared.
those
Why is there not video of this up
Jeez.
right now?
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be viral. That was your chance to take your channel viral. Brittany.
Jared takes a lot of abuse in your house.
I would be
Brittany. A
swinging
lot.
that
Even the
dog
dog's
in a
getting in
windmill
on
by
it.
its nutsack.
I don't understand
Right
why
out the
Jared
door.
hangs around.
I feel like that was a power play. That was a dominant move right
Yeah,
there. That was
exactly.
Probably.
you like this bitch? That's what the dog
Like
was
you're not in charge.
That was the dog's version of prison right there. Just teabag Jared.
I mean, if he's getting teabagged, what's happening up around the forehead area is what I want to know.
A red snake was laying up
You're
there.
not kidding. His goddamn
pegged on his
lipstick came
forehead.
out.
Red Rocket, Red Rocket.
The red rocket.
How's this shade look?
Try this on.
That's bad.
Oh, you won't be able to unsee that anytime soon.
Now we're going to have the PETA people on our ass.
Well, you know.
Why? The dog was having a wonderful evening.
He
Hey,
was.
PETA can read
Yeah,
my
he
shirt.
wasn't in trouble.
What's your shirt say, Ryan? I can't read it from here.
Fuck
Fuck
man.
off. That was just me telling Percy to fuck off. What does your shirt say, Ryan?
My shirt also says fuck off.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, go figure.
So TJ, going back to Sturgis, is there a routine of places you guys hit every year that's just got to do it?
The funny thing is we enjoy it so much that even though everyone says, well, you should try this new thing or this new thing, and I'm like, fuck that. We know what we like. You know what I mean? Like it is like we without fail, we will go to the Knuckle to see Jasmine play the last Friday night if she's doing that. Typically that last Friday night, I'm getting ready to pack and head home. So Jasmine Kane plays that night with AC/DC tribute band Shoot to Thrill. Like we won't miss that. Every ride we'll do as often as we can. So we'll do Spearfish at least twice. We'll do Needles probably 2 to 3 times. Iron Mountain at least twice. The Badlands at least once. The reason I say at least once because the Badlands is actually far.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what, hour and a half?
Yeah.
Hour and a half out of
Yeah,
Rapid,
about
whatever.
At least,
So,
yep.
It's a day, right?
Yep.
Like it's the day. You're heading on. You can go every day. You know, Spearfish Canyon to Deadwood to Needles. I mean, you can do all of that in one day. But Badlands, you're committed. Like you're going all the way out. You're gonna run the Badlands loop, end up in Wall, go to Wall Drug for a buffalo burger and whatever cheesy other thing you want, and then there you go. From teabagging in Sturgis, no, and then
I'd imagine there is some teabagging in Sturgis going on.
there could be. I'm sure if you pass out, it's happening. I guarantee it.
Got that one guy walking around with those huge quads.
Yeah.
Here, money maker right here, Brittany. Ripley,
Yeah,
the
I know.
teabagging poodle, sounds like a comic book.
Well, that's
I'll
right
illustrate
there.
it. It'll make
I just-
millions.
I think that I think if I go to Sturgis, I'm going to walk around and hand out Sharpies. And when somebody asks me what it's for, I'm going to be like, when your buddy passes out. Of course, this is to draw a dick on his face.
And everyone's gonna be like, well, of course. I don't.
Exactly.
You may not even have to tell them. You just hand out a Sharpie, like, oh, for drawing dicks, thank you.
Yep.
And then it's like immediately they're gonna know what that's for.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Topless Tuesday is less of a thing for us as it used to be. That's in Alzada, Montana. It's gotten so big. I normally can, when it comes to biker stuff, I can tolerate crowds more than I can in normal life. But Topless Tuesday is this tiny place that you end up parking in a pasture that's got 3-foot ruts that you can't see because of the grass, right? And it's Percy's. Have you been to Alzada? Have you ever been to the?
No. But
Stoneville Saloon is there year round, but it's a cool little place. It really is. But every time you go there, you almost drop your bike 4 times just trying to park the damn thing because you're just like 4-wheeling, on a 950-pound Harley in a field, and you can't see anything because the crowd is so big. They run out of food and beer almost every year. That's how many people are there.
Damn.
And it's gotten so big and so to the point to where it is, what's the point? And it's another day's commitment. Like it's 2.5 hour ride out to Alzada, and then you're there for the whole day, and then you ride all the way back. So we're kind of like over that one,
Sure. Nobody wants to see me topless. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know, Tony. There is OnlyFans, man. I'm telling you, there's a thing right there.
Dude, there is a kink for everybody out there, homie.
Absolutely. Everybody's got
foot
their thing.
pics. Yep.
But as far as places to stay, we've stayed at the Chip for years, and this next year is going to be the first time we don't stay there in more than a decade. So we're not saying where. And the reason why is we love the channel and we love everybody who watched it, but it was a little out of hand this year. Like we had people banging on the doors drunk at 2 a.m. Hey, monkey! Like banging on my RV, and it's like, okay, we've got to kind of go someplace smaller because the Chip's got how many tens of thousands of people in it?
Sure.
So if 1,000 of them watch a lot of YouTube, that's 1,000 people drunk looking for your ass every night.
That sounds bad.
That does sound bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good time.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and every one of them means well. Nobody's out of hand, but we didn't sleep much.
let me ask you this, because I think the one thing that's always kind of turned me off my mind of thinking of going.
Me topless?
Well, that too.
Okay.
Is the money grab. I mean, how bad is that getting, and how is that to you kind of change the vibe or the enjoyment of the rally?
That it's not as bad as it could be. You know what I mean? Like it's there. Don't get me wrong. But when you go to Main Street and the food vendors are charging $12 for a burger and fries, maybe 15. That's not that bad, right? It's not.
Fuck, it's like $11
That's
at Burger
like
King
McDonald's.
right now.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. If you go to the Chip, a beer is going to be maybe $4. It's not strip club prices. You know what I mean? And
no, that's not bad.
Rallies are one of those things where if you're staying at the campground, you're partying at the campground, there are ways that you can cater to your own, preferences. They sell cases of beer at a reasonable price inside the Chip, for an example. So you can go up there and buy it and just ice it down and, BYOB to the shows, and they're not even going to give you any trouble really about it if it's the beers you bought there. But so there's ways around that. Also, we wake up in our camper and we have breakfast every day pretty much at our rig. Maybe 2 days we'll go have breakfast at the restaurants there, but we cook breakfast. We eat frickin' burgers and stuff. It's not like we're eating filet mignon for lunch every day. And then at least 2 nights during the rally, we grill back at the rig. We invite people back and have a good time. Like I really don't feel like it's that bad.
So if you go without a big rig like you guys have set up, what are the facilities like? Do they have good like showers and bathrooms and all that stuff? If a person was going to go there legit and camp, is that part of it set up okay for people too?
The last time I used the shower houses was at Glencoe, and they were nice. That was fine. I mean,
okay.
It's not a luxurious experience, but it was fine, right?
I wonder if it's any worse than FDB 19.
They're nicer than that. I mean, so? Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is like you go into those big public showers and for sure somebody's going to walk in there and throw like 10 bars of soap on the ground. And so, I mean, if you can just give up the urge to reach down and pick up that bar of soap, you're fine.
Maybe you need a little more romance,
Ryan, but damn.
Right? You ever thought of that? Like,
what's that?
Maybe you need a little more romance in your life. Someone throws a bar of soap at your feet in the shower. Maybe you should pick it up.
Maybe you should grab.
Maybe I should pick them all up.
You could find love, man. You just never know. But yeah, I will tell you that.
Jared, we feel for you, bro.
I had a dream somebody was smacking a sack of plums on my chin.
I was at the Pappy Hoyle campground, which used to be called the Broken Spoke. It's the full throttle one, 3 years ago. And we decided, like, well, we're drunk. Let's go on an adventure. So, like, walking around the campground. And the shower houses were there. And I'm like, I want to see what they're like for future years. And they're like little houses that you open the door and you have a dressing room that you you have a private place to get ready to shower and then shower and then change. So you're not like, it's not the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? Like you have a private little place to get ready. So that was pretty wild. That's nice. So
Right.
the downside is the last 2 years, Sturgis is getting freaking hot during the day.
Yeah.
So if you're tenting, you have no escape.
Right.
You know, I mean, you either get on the bike and ride, which is the best way to do it, right? Get some freaking wind in your face.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's 105, that's just right into a blast furnace.
Yeah.
So
it sucks all the way around.
Yeah, you worry about people overheating legitimately. There's only so much air conditioning to be found at Sturgis, you know?
Well, and TJ is not wrong either. So when we went to South Dakota, it's been 3 seasons now. The first time we went out there, it was same day over Labor Day weekend, which is only a couple weeks after Sturgis. And it had snowed 9 inches before we went and set up. So, you know, you just never really know. The weather up there is super unpredictable. So were you there, TJ? I don't remember when this was. This was probably in the mid 90s when they had that huge hailstorm that went through there.
Yeah, it wasn't the 90s though. It was early 2000s, I think.
Okay,
yeah,
early 2000s. Yeah,
it was so bad. You got to picture this. There were pictures of ultra classics that a hailstone had shattered the windshield, shattered a Lexan windshield, hit the tank, and then caved that sucker in like somebody hit it with a 4-pound sludge.
From a hailstone?
Dang.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
they were softball size hailstones.
fatal hailstones that would have killed somebody if it hit a person. Like it was
terrifying.
There was I don't know how many millions of dollars in RVs where the fiberglass roofs were getting cracked and shattered, and like there was serious damage. Like it was bad.
They had
done
done
afternoon too.
Yeah, they had done Discovery, or somebody was there doing a thing, and you were seeing people come into this bar and their heads were bleeding, and you know, just like broken appendages. Their bikes are smashed to bits in the parking lot, and I remember that a buddy of mine was out there that year for that, and he came home with a nice dent in his tank from a hailstone that hit his
that
hit
would
his bike.
suck, man, to get fucking pummeled by a hailstone like that.
Yeah, the Full Throttle was having a bike show when it happened. So all these
Holy hell
bikes are outside, and they just got like mirrors were shattered, like their mirrors were broken off. That's how big these hailstones were.
Could you imagine bringing out there one of those $100,000 performance baggers right now, and a hailstone just fucking blows your bike to bits? Good God!
Because none of them are insured, right? You know it.
Right.
None of them are insured. Some damn things like
I got liability on this with a $5,000 front end.
It's a 2015 Street Glide. It's worth $9,000 or something like that. And
Yep.
On paper, yeah.
I hear you.
Did you meet up with the Callens this past time? Chris and Heather Callen from
I Chris and Heather are pals. We love them to death. We saw them in Daytona, at Sturgis. Not as much as we'd like to. As a matter of fact, we're changing our what we're going to be at next year a little more to be around the chopper crowd a little more, because we made all these friends that were like, man, I feel like there's a community there that we overlooked for a long time. Like the last several years, it's been all about touring bikes, right? Everything. I don't mean show bikes. I just mean people on touring bikes, modern touring bikes. And then you get exposed to this like small culture of old school chopper builders. And you hang out with them for a night, and they're all you want to hang out with anymore. They're just the nicest, most hilarious, crazy, like they're and they're young. They're like freaking 30-year-old dudes building shovels in their garage that are doing really, it's like, well, Weems was here earlier, prime example. I mean, he's not 30 years old, he's my age, but still, like that culture is alive and well and thriving, and those dudes are a blast. Like they know how to have a good party, and they just love bikes. They'll give you shit if you're on a bagger like I am, but you know, whatever.
So we owe you a little bit of a congratulations. You got nominated for Cycle Source Award for, was it Best New Media?
Best Media, yeah. I didn't know about it until somebody else sent me a message about it. It was funny, but if there's any justice in the world, I won't win. I mean, like it's one of the nominees was the freaking movie, World's Fastest Woman, about Jesse Combs. Like, if I won, I would be like, don't tell anybody. That's not good. You know, like so I'm sure that's going to win, and it should. So, but it's nice to be. It's nice to be recognized. What people always say that, you know, that's yeah.
I think the voting closed out a few weeks ago. and I think isn't it closer to Christmas that they draw?
Mm-hmm.
They have the live.
The-
They have the live on Sunday with the winners announced, I believe.
Yep.
I think the December issue it'll be in there, like the actual paper Cycle Source magazine will be in
Yep.
there. I think maybe next week. I don't know what
That's out. I think they just released that within the last day or two. So
Oh,
it
well.
should be out on newsstands now. If you want to go get one with your logo in it, that'd be cool.
With my not winning, I'm sure. Pretty sure if I won, somebody would have said something. So that's
You
thanks,
never know,
Dustin.
man, because we won it last year and we didn't know until after it was announced and somebody got in touch with Dustin and said we won. We had no clue.
Didn't
Yeah,
know
they-
we were nominated
Yeah.
until somebody
told
I
us
think
we
it
were
was Discord.
nominated,
Yeah.
and then the night that they actually did the awards, they announced who the winners were, and then they sent it to us and said, "Here's the link. They just announced you," and we were like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah, it's when I saw that I was like, that's pretty sweet. I didn't know anything about it. Somebody else does that. But yeah, when I saw that Jesse's documentary was in there, I'm like, well, it was nice to be nominated.
You never know, man. We were the same way. We were like,
Yeah.
really nominated? Fuck. Yeah, that's going to happen.
The only I told my wife, I said the only saving grace that would make us win is if nobody knows what the title's about. Because all it said was the world's fastest woman or something like that. If it said Jesse Combs, we'd be like, oh, screw it. Like, But yeah, they're good people. They have this whole crowd of awesome people. I met Bill Stevens, who builds bikes, probably 2 years ago in Daytona, and we hang out with him every year. And this last year at Sturgis, he had this whole gaggle of young dudes with bikes that they themselves are impressive, but Bill's still like the old school guy who knows that you wrap horsehair around a spark plug to drive water out if water's in this, like insane, like chopper voodoo stuff, like that. So they call him Bill, our Lord and Savior, and they follow him around. And when their bikes don't run, Bill figures it out. It's So when I'm building this bike in the garage, I keep saying like, someone needs to come finish this thing because I don't think you realize I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's pretty bad. So Weems, if you're still there, South Florida is really nice. You should come for 7, 8, 9 days and just hang out in Palm Beach
And bring your welder.
and bring just to show me, just to see. Oh yeah, that's what that looks like.
Hey, can you show me on this part how you would weld this together?
Weems, he said, don't call me.
That bike you're working on looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, though.
My saving grace is that I affectionately referred to it as a rolling basket case. Like it ran when it was parked. I'm changing a lot on it, but it's not like I have to make a motor fit the frame. It already did. So everything's going to be torn down. I'm taking it to a local guy here to do some little small welding on it that I just don't have a welder and don't trust myself to actually try and do that kind of crap. But and then it's going to go off. Frame's going to be powder coated. Tin's going to be painted. And then it's just reassembly with a lot of different parts than what was on it. But in theory, it's nothing like what Weems does or Billy Lane or these other like serious builders. I'm basically just reassembling it. But
It's still confusing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, and the wiring is my biggest nightmare, actually. I'm like sweating rewiring that thing.
Oh,
I saw that in a video the other day. So they ripped the wiring harness out or something.
Yes, the wiring harness that's in it is from a 1990 Sportster 883. They literally ripped it out of a totaled bike and then like shoehorned it into this chopper. And that's why it won't turn over now. It's because I guarantee you look at it, there's just wires hanging out in places. And so I'm starting over, but I don't know what I'm doing.
While we're talking about Jared Weems, we just want to let everybody know that doesn't know yet that we're in the middle of a autism charity bike build, and Jared's been the lead in getting this thing put together, and it's looking amazing. It's actually going to paint here real soon, and Mr. Milkbone is going to be the one doing all the paint work. So that's pretty exciting. That's been some new information we just released this morning on the podcast. But while we're here, and I want to go ahead and thank for another time, for this time, for now, all the sponsors that have been a part of this build, and we're just so thankful for them. So I'm just going to go ahead and read them off real quick. Blockhead Moto, he's actually working on the motor right now. Chop Docks, Engine Armor Coating, FNA Customs, Lowbrow Customs, Milkbone Customs, as we just talked about, Prism Supply Company, S&S Cycles, TC Brothers, Throttle Addiction, Vintage Bike Builder, and of course, Mr. Jared Weems himself. Thank you, everybody that's contributed to the bike. We're kind of coming around that last turn, and we're going to raise some money for the autism community. The Autism Community in Action's the charity we chose for this bike
That's
build.
if you all ever see it, because if it comes to me first, I'm fucking gone.
No, very cool. If you want to check out what's going on with that, go to 5dirtybikers.com and go to the website, and we'll give you updates. And of course, Jared's got YouTube channel material that he's been putting out almost every week about the bike and the progress with it. And it's just looking amazing, man.
Keep your eyes out because tickets will be on sale very, very soon.
And if you don't know, it's going to be the bike on the left in this painting because Jared has built the bike on the right.
That's badass. That'll be cool.
Yep.
I the other day, it was kind of a funny Weems story. I was in the family room watching, and then we all work from home a lot of days, and my wife's in the other end of the house, and she just hears me yell, "Fuck no!" like scream at the TV, and she runs out, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I go, "Weems' bike got damaged. The one he took to Born Free."
56.
He had done a video where the ratchet strap had just
came
his
loose.
bike up.
Yeah.
And I screamed to the TV, and she ran out thinking like, "What's wrong?" Thinking it's the pup or whatever. And I'm like, "No, Weems' bike got damaged."
Yeah.
It got scratched.
And then he took it to Milkbone and he fixed it. So it was like, yeah, that was bad. That was real bad. But yeah.
Yeah, super special ultra rare paint on that bike too. I believe I think it's a BMW paint that he put on that bike.
Milkbone said in the video he mixes it, so it's not like you could match it someplace else. Like I know where that. When I was in school, I had a little Toyota pickup truck that one of my dad's buddies, the body man, painted it, and it got hit in the parking lot. And I brought it to him, and he's like, "I can't match that paint, dude. That was scraps. Like you take scrap paint and go, well, that's not a bad red." Painted the truck, and he was like, "I can't match it. There was no science to that. This is the late '80s, early '90s." So.
Fuck.
There's your paint.
Aston Martin China Gray.
Yeah.
I knew it was an actual car color paint. I remember that. I didn't know, but there you go.
That's very specific.
So why didn't you just buy it from Aston Martin? It'd be so much easier. What is it, like $9,000 an ounce? What?
Yes.
Probably.
I'm sure it's pre-mixed. I mean, it's fine.
Well, I've seen that Born Free bike. It's incredible.
It's wild. It's just wild.
It's a work of art.
Yeah.
It's an absolute work of art.
And the thing about that bike that's so impressive is there's the legitimate engineering in there. It's not like mine's a freaking parts bin Paco bike, whereas his is like the tanks on the side and the, it's supercharged or something like that, yeah. Oh, Weems said they did buy the paint from Aston Martin, but Milkbone modified it.
And there you go.
Well, there you go.
Sure it's unmatchable,
Yeah. Fuck.
So besides Sturgis, we talk about Sturgis, but are any of you planning on any other rallies this year or events or whatever besides FDB?
I'm thinking about coming down to Daytona. Volts and I were talking about, I've got a timeshare down in Orlando, about maybe coming down, hitting up the timeshare and hitting Daytona, riding around Southern Florida.
For Bike Week or what?
Maybe, yeah. Don't know. Everybody I tell keeps telling me not to do it, but I've never done it, and I just think it might be a cool thing to do.
I think it might be great for your old bones, Dave, to get some of that
warm
Florida
weather.
sun.
Fuck you, Ryan. Thank you very much.
I mean, you'll probably be able to feel your hips again.
Yeah. No, but I live near the auto train here in Virginia, so I was thinking about just putting the bike on and then taking the auto train down, and then riding around and come back up.
So there's a train that goes down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put your car or your motorcycle on it. Takes about
How long
17
does said
hours.
train take?
17 hours.
God
I think it's 17. And then it's hit or miss. It's whenever order your car went on determines the time to get off. So if you're first on, you're last out.
Cycle Fanatics rode
he
to
did
the
that last
station.
year.
But he luckily had weather decent enough to ride to the station. Then he jumped on the auto train to come
Well,
down.
that was debatable because I was sitting on my bike in the middle of that fucked up weather, getting wet, waiting on them to come in because I was going to film them coming into the parking lot, and I gave up. I think they came in. I saw him post like 35 minutes after I got back to the house, and I said, "Nah, fuck it."
It was cold and rainy and shitty like that. Back in my St. Louis days, where I'm from, that was just life, right? Like we pretty much never stopped riding throughout the year. But I mean, 13 is my record, but that was 13 and dry.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
13 in the rain, you're going to freeze, right? You're actually going to ice up, So anyway,
so 13 is fucking cold.
Yeah, it was bad, and I had a V-rod, and the frame of the V-rod, if you can picture it, funnels the air right onto your testicles.
Oh man!
And like just a blast chiller right to the twig and berries as you're riding down the road. Like
you had hair before that ride.
I need a pitcher of warm water and a spatula.
We got to where
I'm
we were going for an event for the organization shall not be named, and I went into the bathroom to use the restroom, and there's another new guy in the room, and I go to use the restroom, and I just scream, so like, holy shit, I'm female. Like it's gone. It's gone. And he was like, Jesus, what do we do? Like this was like the best SNL skit you can ever imagine. Because it was
you stick your thumb up your ass and it'll pop out.
Yeah. So we've been best friends ever since. Me and that dude. So 6 packs, my buddy. Yeah.
I'm getting a V-Rod.
Here went to the 100th anniversary. Well, that was 2003. I mean, I could have, but I didn't.
Now Ryan's cold up there in North Dakota. I think he's already done the Portuguese snowblower twice.
It's cold up there.
How many feet of snow have you guys already had, Ryan?
We haven't had feet quite yet. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. That's not exactly true. We had a good melt off, so we probably only have about 14 or 18 inches on the ground right now. But we had a good melt off this last weekend.
Fucking awful.
Yeah,
isn't that because it's too cold to snow that much up there?
Well, not this time of year. We do not quite yet. It's 24 right now, but it's supposed to be below 0 tonight, and then we're supposed to get single digits in the next couple of days. So we're hitting a cool off. We hit a nice little warm patch here, but it's going to get cold again. So it happens. It's what we deal with.
I remember that phrase in St. Louis that it's too cold to snow, and I just
we get that for sure.
Makes sense.
Or you get the what we call it dry snow. People don't even understand what that means. Where it's so cold that the snow has no water content to it. So that happens too.
Hang on, snow is made of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's different types.
But
of
when
snow.
you pick it up, Tony, and you can't actually make a snowball with it because it's so dry.
There's nothing worse than having a glass of dry water.
It's true. It's true.
So Ryan, why do you live there?
I know.
It's just a question.
We ask him all the time.
People have asked me that numerous times, and my answer to that question is always, it's a great place to raise kids because it's safe, and because no one actually does want to live here. The people that they get to live here, they pay us really well to stay. So that happens. That's actually a real thing.
So unless there's a helicopter and a Bentley in the fucking driveway, it ain't enough. And maybe there is. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like there's a bar that serves you drinks and stuff. But there is something to that though, because this house is now 3 years old, and after the pandemic, we got a letter the other day from a realtor saying, "Here's a firm offer for your house," and I was like, "You are on fucking crack if you pay that for this house. Like you're out of your freaking mind." But the funny thing is, like, so where do I go live? Like, I sell my house.
Because you're going to pay just as much if you go someplace else.
That's the trick. Yep.
That's not real money. I got to live somewhere, But yeah. So I actually met a guy at Sturgis one year that came from, I can't remember what side of the country, honestly. But he and his son decided that they would go up through North Dakota before they came down to Sturgis. And I swear they had PTSD. From riding in North Dakota. Like he was like, and this is August, right? They're on the way to Sturgis, but he said he's something about the mud and moisture their bikes look like they had been buried and dug up because they had accidentally ended up on like an oil field road or something.
Oh yeah,
it was bad. It was real bad.
They did that for sure. But
that
bikes
was
had
kind
a
of stroke.
Yeah, it's really an interesting phenomenon though, because I always tell people it's where the sun and land meet, right? Because it's so flat that in the summertime it's that that Alaska situation, we get light out till 10:30 at night. So riding season for us, not only it's short, but our days are really long. So if we want to travel anywhere, it's light from 5 o'clock in the morning till 10:30 at night that you can travel where you legitimately aren't riding in the dark. And so that's a bit of an advantage from that perspective. So that's really nice. And then, the other thing is speed limits are loosely enforced, right? So
Nobody wants to go outside.
You can safely ride your bike in the summertime 10 miles over the speed limit, right? Speed limit's already 75 on our interstates here. It's 80 in South Dakota. So you can easily go 85, 90 and you're not going to get a ticket. Plus they just don't pull over bikes very much. So it's like, they're sitting there and you drive by them going 90, they just kind of look the other way.
I made that joke the other day in Florida that all they're looking for is like drug and gun traffickers down here in South Florida. I'm not talking North Florida where everyone's dating their sister, but like Southern Florida, like they could give a shit. Like, the cops are just like, well, there's not an immediate gunfight coming. Like, you're not spraying rounds while out of the car, we're going on the highway, so we'll let you go. So we roll 90, 95 all the time on the turnpike and no one cares. But that's because every car they've pulled over on the turnpike in South Florida, they already knew the license plate and description before they pulled them over. You know what I mean? Like, that's reported. Blue Dodge, this license plate's got a trunk full of guns. Like that's all they're doing is pulling those over. So. Oh, Kazo Moto says he's got to get back to work. He's in Australia. He hasn't paid attention to his job in 2 hours. I know that.
I was chatting with him earlier.
I'm looking at him now. Damn it.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's hard to keep up
I
with
know.
the comments.
No, thank you guys for joining in the side chat. We appreciate it. TJ, I was actually down in Soulard today. I was bummed we didn't get to meet up a few months back, but we'll have to try to do that next year when you come up again.
Yeah, the friggin' timing sucked. This year I'm not even stopping in St. Louis. I'm just blasting through.
Oh, you're just gonna blast through? Okay.
How long does it take you to get up there, Monkey? Was it 20 something hours?
I decided this year that it needed to be 4 days, not 3.
Just to get up there.
Just to get up there, yeah, because it's pulling my rig loaded with 2 bikes and all the supplies and water and fuel and everything else in there is about 14,000 pounds. And pulling that thing 700 plus miles a day for 3 days to make it, because it's 2,400 miles from my house to Sturgis.
Jesus, that's a fucking haul.
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
It's exhausting. It's a little too. So I decided this last year. I'm like, you know what? No, it needs to be 600 mile days. Because a 600 mile day pulling, so people say like, 1,000 miles on a bike, dude. I would much rather do 1,000 miles on a bike in a day than 600 miles pulling that weight with.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Like it's exhausting because you're working that wheel the whole time, and my rig is 36 feet plus the truck, so it's like pulling a tractor trailer that does this the whole time because it's not a tractor trailer, and you're getting cut off. And there's also the nerves of. You've got a big investment in your camper and your motorcycles and everything back there. And if something goes wrong, you're homeless, right? Like that's my home for 2.5 weeks. So every day I end the day just stress the F out until I get up there. I don't care if I have an accident on the way home.
Fuck it, I'm just going home. There.
Well, when we rode out there last year and we got caught in some just hellacious crosswinds, it was horrible. And, we were passing a lot of RVs, and we came on this one, and this family sitting on the side of the road. Their shit was just strung out forever down the road, and the RV had come off the frame.
Oh, God.
And just rolled over. The frame was still connected to the truck, but I just, I couldn't even imagine, man.
I spend probably the last 6 weeks before I leave checking everything. Like, repacking bearings, checking tires, checking plumbing lines, just making sure the rig is ready for that distance. And it's stressful as hell. So I go 600 miles, I pull off into a freaking KOA, and I just plug in power and I crash for the night. Get up in the morning, 600 miles, which is probably about 10, 12 hours, depending on
about
traffic.
12 or 13 hours, right?
Yeah. If it depends on the segment of the trip, because the first segment you're going through Atlanta,
which sucks balls.
It's awful. Like my father and I die laughing all the time because we've both done it a bunch of times. You're like, why does this lane? You know, they paint on the lane 75 north, 75 north, 75 north, and then all of a sudden, why is it over here now? Like all of a sudden, it just moved on me. Like now I got to change lanes downtown.
They call that low bidder.
I hate Atlanta. Atlanta and actually Chattanooga and Nashville is not much better anymore.
It really is. Nashville's gotten pretty bad. I noticed.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Indianapolis could eat a bag of dicks.
Indianapolis is a bag of dicks.
It is a bag of dicks. Every time I've been there, I've been stuck in traffic. I
don't know if anybody in this chat lives in Indiana, but if the U.S. had an asshole, it'd be Indiana.
Well, Gary's in there, right?
I don't know, man. I think
Indiana.
Interstate going through St. Louis around the Arch, that's pretty much the ass of America, I think.
You think?
Oh, you know what though? When we went to Hogs and Frogs this summer, I was rolling with John and Phil. So TJ, imagine this. We were driving from Kentucky to a small town in Missouri, and I was rolling with 2 other police officers. So we stopped at a gas station, and they told me, ride as fast as you want to ride. And we rode through St. Louis, and I shit you not, we were going 90 when we passed the Arch.
How did you stay on your bike as bad as those roads are?
Oh, dude, the Poplar Bridge is pretty chewed up, man.
It's horrible.
When you're going 90, you're
just
floating over the
them.
road. You just glide over it. I mean,
you're actually not on the ground anyway. You're actually just kind of in the air.
That's where my Rick Rack came off the rack. It was going around.
Really?
Yeah.
But there are some 6-inch expansion joints there that are not connected. But the worst bump I had. St. Louis doesn't bother me. It's my hometown. I used to work downtown and live out in the burbs, so like it doesn't stress me out because I that's my whole first 30 years of my life were there, right? So it's fine. But this last year, the biggest bump where I thought, oh shit, the bikes must have gone crazy in the trailer, was in my hometown on a 370 on ramp where it just went. I swear to God, my truck and trailer all left the pavement at the same time and came down. And I was like, oh, shit. Bad.
When you Dukes of Hazzard a whole truck and trailer, you know you've done something.
Yeah.
That's never good.
It was bad. But from there, it's like, past St. Louis, I was telling my wife, man, like it's smooth sailing, man. Like KC, Iowa, I'm like, pedal down the whole way from there. But that first half really sucks.
So are you doing that ride solo, Monkey?
I'm sorry?
You do that ride solo? Or does your wife go with you?
No, I go alone.
Oh, and she flies up, doesn't she?
Yeah. So, we have a 10-year-old, so it just doesn't work that we can't both be gone for 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever. So, yeah. So she's the best wife that ever was. She's always like, get the fuck out, leave, because I actually enjoy the solitude. I'm a bit weird like that. Like, couple days of nothing but podcasts and music and
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I took the day off today and just went down to St. Louis. I had a fucking lobster roll in Soulard and came home.
There you go. Soulard's fun.
What?
A lobster roll.
What's a Soulard?
Soulard's a district. It's a neighborhood district down in St. Louis.
All right. I thought it was
just look straight down,
like,
Tony. You'll see
one.
What
the fuck is that?
Soulard. It was a girl I knew in high school. She was real friendly. Soulard.
She was not afraid.
She was lonely and needed some love, and
that girl wears a cheerleading skirt
and red rocket lipstick.
More like a belt, but whatever. No, Soulard's fun. Soulard's old. It's St. Louis was founded at the same time New Orleans was, so like 1730 something. And Soulard's where that started.
That's when the roads were built.
Yeah, right. It's all brick. They're brick roads. So
Dustin, post that comment by Mrs. Monkey.
Where'd she go?
my stage name in college was Kenny Lawrence. Thanks, babe. I appreciate that.
Touche.
My two favorite jokes to this day is I once knew a girl named whatever, and then that was my stage name in college. Like it never gets old to me.
It keeps on giving.
Right. Like,
Soulard.
It's a neighborhood. It's like it's really old. Oh, you should next time you go to Soulard, Dustin, there's a bar called the Cat's Meow.
Been by there.
It is a freaking whole dive bar with the old ladies have to be dead that owned it, but it was like PBR is like the highest end beer you're going to get there. Like,
what do you suppose a bar called the Cat's Meow? What do you suppose it smells like on the inside?
Well, you can't smell it through the caged window. Like there's actually a cage over the glass. So
nice. That's a good wholesome place.
You can take the bait, Ryan.
Is there a stage with Sniffer's Row?
It's not big enough for a stage.
So
But
what's that other bar down there? God.
Ryan prefers the White Swallow Spa. It's right behind Soulard.
That's down in Sauget.
It's down in
No. So Dustin, you see, Bagger Bader said don't eat the fish in Brooklyn, Illinois. That's a filthy ass joke that I love because Sauget is the clean high end of the whole thing. Brooklyn, Illinois is where Roxy's used to be and places like that where you were gonna have an infection when you walked out of there. Like
you needed a penicillin shot when you left.
There need to have like a medic van in the parking lot, like just for being in there. The organization shall not be named used to have a poker run every year on the east side.
Here's the question.
Tony's got a thing for glory holes, man.
Hey, man, I get 1995 to put those in. I just need to know your height and circumference.
They all lie, Tony. They all
do. They all do.
That's what I need right there.
When everyone answers tuna can, they're lying.
Yeah.
So pencil, right? I'll give you maybe a 3/8.
I got a spade bit that's too big for it.
Okay, I gotta ask this. This is the second time this fella has asked about Red Lobster.
Hey man, those fucking cheese biscuits are delicious.
They are.
I mean, now the lobsters look more like shrimp, but those biscuits are good.
You mispronounce it. It's scrimps.
Scrimps.
So, Mr. Middle Tennessee Concrete is a celebrity. That's Dallas Face Mullet.
Oh, okay.
And he actually has a channel where he rides and everything else. He's friends with all of us, but his YouTube channel is all about his concrete business. I never knew concrete was so damn interesting until you see him pour a foundation and like some of those like safety shelters people want and stuff. Like, well, no, Dallas is funny. I can imagine him drinking a PBR at a Red Lobster. I would gladly drink a PBR at Red Lobster with him. So my brother-in-law actually works at PBR.
We're going to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Used to drink $1 PBRs at some club in downtown St. Louis.
Maybe you guys can go to Sizzler for dessert.
They had a place where you get the $1 PBR goblets. It was Game of Thrones shit, dude.
Are they freezing cold schooners? Because that would be good, actually.
Yeah, they were $1 a piece.
Yeah, that's good. The dollar PBR in St. Louis is pretty easy to find actually these days.
They always have just a hint of rust, though. PBR always had just a hint of little rust.
Well, you get some vitamins and minerals that way. I mean,
that's what I was thinking. It's liquid bread with some vitamins.
The funny thing is, I must be white trash because I actually think PBR is not bad.
It's not.
It's delicious.
I'm like, it's not bad actually. And you feel classy drinking one.
Yeah, my grandma used to drink them at the table all the time. She'd have a Cools in one hand and a PBR in the other one. She was the coolest old lady ever.
Virginia
I know you're
Slims.
not from St. Louis, but that's the most St. Louis thing I've ever heard anyone say in my life. A Cool in one hand, a PBR in the other. Like,
I can see Tony with one of those big steel goblets of PBR and a chicken leg in the other hand.
That was about it, dude.
With fur, a big fur.
Yeah, just a big fur coat.
Do they serve PBR at Claudia's dinner house?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. Oh,
Were you
Claudia
just
Sanders.
there? You were just
Yeah,
there,
weren't you
Claudia
there
Sanders?
last week?
We get carry out, man.
Oh,
You don't go in the mansion?
No, fuck that. I'm out. Get carry out. I only live right down the street.
They still
So
have the
V-Rotter
Topless
says,
statue
our
out
buddy
there
Luis
in the parking
V-Rotter
lot?
says the PBR is great. He has a good story about a buddy of ours, Harley Fatboy, that got Sturgis his first night this year. Like, he was so excited. This is one of the best dudes that ever lived. He was so excited. He was hitting him hard. And then we all looked at each other at about midnight going, oh, Fatboy Sturgis, because he was wasted. In the middle of the night, I got a picture texted me from Luis, V-Rotter, of Fatboy, who all it said was he didn't quite make it to bed. And he's just like, they had a tent, right? He was just laying in the grass right outside the tent, like 6 inches from the doorway. Like,
Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
he got Sturgis. That's all that
Yeah.
happened.
It happens.
Now, if you wake up the next day and you're walking funny, the idea of getting Sturgis has taken on a whole new name.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I don't care what happens. You're going to be walking funny the next day, no matter what.
There is actually, when we talk about doodle earlier with safety, there's actually is a scam that goes on at Sturgis. And I've heard of this from multiple people, and actually someone tried it on me and this other dude about 3 years ago. So a young lady will approach you at any named campground. It's nobody's fault, so it doesn't matter where. And they'll say, oh, this is fun. We're having a blast. And they'll be very cool. And then they'll say, yeah, I lost my friends. I don't know where I'm going to stay tonight. Da, 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 da. And they will do one of two things. They will either try to stay with you and they'll rob you, right? Make you think something will happen. Or the other version is, and I've heard this from multiple sources, something will happen, but somebody appears with a camera and they video what happens and either blackmail you or publish it on the internet.
Wow.
Jeez.
So kind of like Las Vegas.
It is, but the predatory behavior is like women on men, not the other way around. Like they're so. And a lady did say this to us maybe 2-3 years ago. We were at a certain campground. I won't say where, and we're having a freaking great time. And this lady's just hanging out with us. She just people they connect with your group. They start hanging out. And she started this whole, I've lost everybody. I don't know where I'm going to stay tonight. And I'm like, well, my wife's with me, so I ain't worried about some lady trying to stay with me. So this other guy is like, you don't have any place to stay? And I pulled him aside and was like, don't do this.
Don't go for it, man.
Don't do it, man. It's going to go bad. And he was like, seriously? I'm like, it sounds like that setup. So as soon as he said, my wife, it's not, she just disappeared. She just walked away. And look for a different mark. So there is a scam that goes on up there, but it's a fun scam, as Appleblind says.
It's the Ram scam.
So,
Oh, man.
yeah,
It
my
happens.
wife says here. What?
No,
Yeah, I think she yelled. You ain't staying with him. My wife yelled at the lady. You ain't staying with him. So
you get what you
didn't
deserve.
I'm thinking that tape would just be wrapped in disappointment and sadness.
Will somebody comb that man's ass?
They couldn't get much for a 5-second video.
Publishing that stuff on the internet, though, that can backfire on people because people make money off of that shit now. It's not like you're gonna embarrass somebody. They'll be like, hey, just put it up on my OnlyFans for me, will you?
But the dude doesn't get paid, only the girl does. That's how that works. Or they say, how much is it worth for you for this to go away? That's what I hear. That's the other.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Ooh.
That's when you like backfire it back on them. Be like, nothing. I'm gonna watch this every day.
That's right. This is awesome. Can you send me the link?
This is
I send it to my
awesome.
friends.
Can you send me the link to that?
I'm gonna burn it on DVD and sell it at the flea market.
Again, disappointment and sadness.
That would be really funny though if you said burn it on DVD. So then they think they got you, and you're like standing out there with like a cardboard stand, and you're like, DVD, me having sex with that girl across the street.
How long is it? 5.5 seconds.
5-second video.
And she's like, "I'll give you $100 to make that DVD go away." It's like, "No, it's worth 1,000."
I'll give you a 10 a second.
Fuck the cup, just pull up my hand.
Oh my!
Tell them to do me a favor and tag me in it. That's what a 2022 thing to say.
Make it a YouTube short.
Put that on Insta.
Click here for part 2.
Well, the problem is the YouTube short, the small size, 15 seconds. That's too long. So
That's
like
way
2
too long.
second
I mean,
YouTube short.
Yeah, but
You're
you gotta
definitely
do
gonna
the-
get some
the
snoring in
cigarette
that one.
smoking scene afterwards. So
You got 3 seconds of action, and the rest of the time is all cigarettes.
Snoring.
12 seconds of cigarettes.
Somehow I got very sleepy.
Well,
So
this
you
is
were
this
so
is a
you were saying
departure from the
earlier
last few
when
weeks.
I asked you the question about Sturgis, if it was still relevant, you said it should be. So do you think that it actually is losing its relevance, or I mean, what did you mean by that? Because you said it should be relevant, but you were kind of like, what did you mean by it should be?
Well, I would say it's not losing its relevance if you look at the crowd size. The crowd size is still massive. Like it's
huge.
It's huge. There's
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of people go every year, even on an off year, et cetera. And then on the anniversary years, like every 5 years, they're like, freaking kill me. They're so busy.
Sure.
I think that those of us that have ridden a long time, we're kind of guilty of not being more open to the younger people coming, and that's our fault. That makes
Okay.
sense. Like,
Yep.
I think that if you had more and more dudes with chrome stripes out there saying, "Hey, if you're 25 and ride a Honda Rebel 1100, come to Sturgis. Come hang out
Sure.
with us.
Sure.
Come listen to bands. You're going to have a blast, and you're not going to have a problem." All those days of rough shit, getting your ass whipped, et cetera, that really is gone. It's really, I mean, unless you do something. If you go there looking for trouble, you're going to find it. Don't get me wrong. There's those,
Right.
but
Right.
the same, if you come looking to have a good time, look at bikes, enjoy the biker lifestyle, go on good long rides, see amazing scenery, and learn more about the culture, like come do it. Like, I think we need more people saying that publicly.
Sure.
But I don't think it's losing its relevance at all, just because it's still freaking massive. It's giant. And you've got companies like BMW investing a fortune in building these giant displays, and I'm not going to say anything. Indian setting up their whole
fuck
game.
Indian.
Okay.
move on.
Here's the funny thing is, I don't know if you were listening to Cycle Source last night. So there's Shop Talk, Cycle Source Media every Sunday night, 9:00. They have a quick, like 90-minute live. And one of the things in the news was that they just recalled the fuel pumps on like every Scout for the last couple of years because they'll fail. And it said they're recalling 7,700 bikes over the last like 3 or 4 years. And it was someone, I won't say the name because I don't want to call him out personally, said, "Does that mean that's all they sold?"
I was about to
Are
ask.
these bikes over a 4-year period? Like that number is
That's
teeny,
crazy.
like
Pretty low.
so. Percy, I'm sorry, you said something.
No, I was about to ask that when you said that. I mean, that's a crazy low number.
7,700 over a 4-year model period. Like that's pretty. That means that's all they're selling of those things. And then the funny thing is, immediately they went into like the showcase bike of the night. It was a woman with her Indian Scout. And the side chat was like, "Oh my God, the bike's recalled."
Well, we've often said that everybody kind of bitches about, oh, Harley's put out their new bikes this year and it's all paint, right? But if you think about it, Indian did the Scout and the FTR and the Challenger, but that's it. They haven't done anything really since the Challenger, right? I mean, the FTR, even
I don't
the
think
new
they've
versions,
done anything at all.
the FTR since the new versions of the FTR this year are just, we're gonna paint it, and we're gonna throw some different tires on it, and we're gonna throw some different plastics on it to make it look different. But for the most part, those 3 bikes of what they've propped everything up with, and they haven't done anything different with them in the last 5 or 6 years. So,
Yeah, the FTR Sport I saw the other day, and I thought it was interesting it's trying to be a Ducati Diavel, right? Like it's trying, but
right, yeah.
But it is just plastic.
The carbon version's cool though.
But here's what chaps my ass about the FTR is it's just the victory. The victory. What was it called? Not the volt, the voltage, the shockwave, some fucking name. What was it called? That's an existing platform that they shelved.
Right.
And then rebranded a Scout, and that kind of it. So Indian chaps my ass because I had a bad one. I was talking to somebody in Sturgis this year, who's Miss Promoter, and I said yeah, I go look at all these Indian signs in this place, and they're like, well, yeah, but have you ridden an Indian? They're great. I'm like, I owned one. It was a piece of shit. Like it was a terrible motorcycle that stranded me in Sturgis. So no one's gonna tell me, oh, have you ridden an Indian? I don't give a shit about riding one. Live with one and tell me what it's like, because it died on me in Sturgis. The paint had rust under it. So when I took off an applique on the rear, the paint came with it because there was rust on the steel underneath. Like this was a bad motorcycle. It was not well made.
Man, those things are nutty like a squirrel turd. I don't want anything to do with them.
Did you buy that new, or was that a used one you bought?
No, it's brand new. It was a brand new Springfield. They're Road King.
With rust?
And I'm sure they got better, but it was still, my story is still true. It was a piece of shit that I bought brand new, and I got rid of it, lost my ass, and said, I'll never do that again.
It's a turd with a kickstand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, don't get into an accident with one of those Challengers right now, because you can't get a fairing for it to save your life.
Sounds like you won't be riding it because you need a fuel pump.
Well, the funny thing is, on the Challenger, and I don't mean to call the dude out because he's not here to weigh in, but Salty and Sprinkles, his Challenger was a total shit heap. He said it the windshield that goes up and down broke, and like the stereo never worked, and he's a smart dude, and he's like, this shit doesn't work. Like his bike is bad. And
it's not like they're cheap either. I mean, they're charging a premium price for those fuckers.
No, they're Harley money all day long.
Yeah.
2 pumps and a twist isn't going to get you anything with that kind of bike.
No, you got to work for it.
No, but it'll get you a 5-second DVD.
And Percy with the callback. There you go, man. Professional.
When you get that old, 5 seconds is a big deal too.
Hey, you got it coming, bro.
That's what she said.
She didn't say it long though.
5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Jesus Christ, guys, we're live.
You don't have a chair.
I'm just coming in to say hi.
Oh, a special guest.
Get that woman a chair.
Hello.
So are you guys like watching Netflix and chill in your garage now?
I finished Netflix.
No, not you, the monkeys. Did you watch the live?
He finished Netflix.
He's got Netflix on his bike now.
Tony uses that as an excuse. He goes like, "Can we just chill? Because I finished Netflix."
I finished that fucker.
Let's get right to
it. There's no room for us to watch Netflix in the garage right now. That's why I'm actually trying to sell one of my bikes. And the sad thing is that's not going to take pressure off, because the bike I'm trying to sell isn't even in my garage. It's in my RV storing it because I'm so out of room. Jesus. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, girl. Hey.
I'm a little offended there, Bri, the
while
biker.
you ride the bike. You see, that's what it is.
Was that Percy? I'm sorry?
I said I was a little offended, Bri.
You were a little offended? Did Bri offend you?
Yeah. I think it was sexy before. I mean,
you're definitely
sexier
not a
now,
millennial.
obviously,
Why
but,
did you get offended?
Well, that's true.
Well, because Dave's been trying to bring sexy back for a while. It's just taken him a long time to get there.
Everything comes full circle. You just got to wait it out. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, Percy.
I'll get sexy right before I die.
Yeah, right before.
What's Corey saying? Sell my CVO? Is he out of his mind? What's
So
wrong?
what? Gonna have to
Corey's
sell the
saying-
seat. Oh,
You know what?
no, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Corey, you know better than that.
You sell and you just buy it.
yeah. Appleglide's right. First world problems. He's right. Absolutely. I'm not complaining for sure, but yeah, the douchebagger that I built's got to go, and then I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do because there ain't no room left. So I still got to get stuff out of there somehow.
You're gonna put another bike in the living room. Is what's gonna happen. You're gonna put the chopper in the living room.
You have a bike in
She
your
said
living
that.
room.
She actually said, "Why don't you build the chopper in the living room?" I go,
It just
because
makes
there's
sense.
grout in the tile and the oil just never stops coming out of that thing. It's like a goddamn waterfall of 20W50 coming out of that thing.
Well, then
Brother-
you're
brother,
doing is coloring your grout.
You have an amazing wife, bro.
Dude, that would be such a
Just-
badass thing.
Man.
Yeah. Wife says, "Hey, just move the chopper in the living room."
Yeah.
Yes.
Just bring it in the house, babe.
Yes,
Well,
I
we know
will.
It's gonna start getting cold. It's gonna hit the 70s soon, so we got to bring everything in.
Oh,
Oh, we were saying
Boo
Louis.
hoo.
Who invited her on here? Jesus.
We already have, the center point of our family room out is my 114-inch motor that came out of my Ultra. I built a table out of that motor.
Oh, cool.
And it's in the house?
Yeah,
It's in
and
the
I have 100.
backlit and everything.
So someone doesn't watch my channel, Ryan.
I can't even fucking walk in the house with oily hands or my wife will bat my nuts up over my head.
And since they're already on his shoulders, that's really saying
Yeah, I mean,
something.
just straight bat wing, dude. I mean, up over the head. I mean,
It's not cracking. It's not women. I don't care. Thank you,
it's gotta stay. It's gotta stay out in the garage.
She said that now for more than 10 years. It's not crack and it's not women, so you do whatever you want. Like,
That's an
what about
amazing
women on
philosophy.
crack, babe?
We're going back to that.
It's a double negative. It's a positive then, isn't it?
Do you have any Fireball in here?
Okay.
We do in the freezer, I think. We are now. I feel like it's necessary.
We got
Is it necessary?
There's some in the freezer.
Is there?
Yeah.
You want to do some shots?
Yeah, I think we should do shots.
You guys up for some shots?
See why she's the perfect woman right there? She's like, we should have shots.
On a Monday.
Well, my day starts. Well, here's the thing. So
Good for you.
I have a lighter week because my day starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow and goes late, and then Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday I start flying for 50 some odd hours until I get to India, and then it all goes to hell from there. And then I get back and they go on a cruise without me, and they don't get back till Christmas Eve. So I'm home alone with that little furry bastard until Christmas Eve. Yeah,
Oh, have fun with that.
Where is it?
there really is. I might have to go look. There really is a bottle in the freezer.
I just checked.
Okay, well then you know
Taking
what?
a swig.
Warm Fireball goes all
Yay.
around for everybody. We're not. No one else is drinking. I'm just a lush.
It's talking about chugging
Sorry,
warm
my
balls.
stuff's downstairs.
Salud.
Salute.
I say good day.
King.
Oh.
Has anybody tried that where you get the
Oh,
Brita
so
filter and you put alcohol in it? It's supposed to take all the burn out and the taste.
Man, that's horse shit.
The fuck? Where do you get this
Why
shit
would
from?
you do that?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the
but I've
point
seen
then?
it. I just don't know if anybody's
It's
tried
like
it
those
yet.
people that take alcohol enemas because they don't want to drink liquor. They just want to get drunk. Like,
Oh, you
No, that's
do
funny
that?
because we were talking about Brittany taking NyQuil enemas earlier.
The chat in her text.
Go on.
I missed that, but that's another only.
Well, she
right there.
was
Like,
texting today that she didn't feel well, so we suggested that a NyQuil enema might solve the problem.
Brittany's old
I'm
man
not
likes to
doing
get
that.
teabagged by poodles.
Right. You know? Hey,
They
what
also
you do-
advertise their
Not
pegging
quite, but
website
it was
on the sign
close.
behind her.
What you do on your weekends is your business.
I may have added he likes it, but still it happens.
Oh.
Like,
Well, you know, he just
We
looks at it
got
as
we
free
got another
chapstick.
pup or a new puppy as well.
she's had poodles her whole life.
Oh wow! I heard they're
Well,
mean little
no,
suckers.
not my whole life. Just since I've been purchasing my own animals,
full size
Okay.
for the miniatures.
full standard.
Oh, no, that's different. That's totally different.
Yeah,
so
we
Is it?
I have
growing up,
standards.
I had an aunt that always had standard poodles. Those are actually really cool dogs. They're
They're
huge.
amazing.
Like,
Toby.
Yeah,
I think it might be a little bit too much of a good thing.
it's
I mean,
So,
They
so
are-
now that we understand that she has a large poodle, let's go back to that story about Jared getting teabagged. It takes on a whole different.
Yeah, no, this
keep in
vibe
mind
now.
that he is
It's
only
not
4.5
two little
months, so
cute
he's
things.
barely even got
that freezer
anything
again.
there.
Yeah, now we're talking a full size twig and berries here.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a big
We were talking
dog.
about
A
some
standard
miniature
poodle's
stuff.
a big
They're
dog.
not
It's
full size because he's like basically a baby.
You better get that man a snorkel the next time that happens so he can breathe.
Speaking of full size, this is my 3-month-old.
Oh,
Jesus.
Lord.
Yeah, Rottweilers get bigger than
boy.
poodles,
Good
I'm pretty
God,
sure.
boy.
Look at the paws on that thing.
Wow, I know. I was just looking at that.
So, his daddy is the current AKC champion, and his name is Maximus von Hausfrenetta. His daddy's name.
But your mama's
His
boy.
daddy's
Sounds like you
140
guys
pounds.
went fancy with your
He
dog.
just punched me in the face.
The puppy punch.
But yeah, he's 3 months old,
Wow.
and he's pretty awesome. But you know, one of those things where you can see the potential, like he's gonna be great. But right now, he just beats the shit out of me all the time. Like,
Well,
Yep. Ours
mean-
has been doing pretty good actually with teething. I'm surprised. He's pretty good about only chewing toys, and he does like to steal socks. But that's about as
this
worst
one
as
loves
it's
my
gotten.
beard. He loves to chew on my beard.
Oh,
Are you done
would
yet,
suck.
boy?
you just know his mommy. You love mommy? Come on.
All right, take it. Check that freezer though while you're back there.
Brittany's dog is the harbinger of death. So
I've been
vampire
trying to
eyes.
keep Lilu away from him so that he doesn't learn all her bad things, but that's not happening. He's like,
So,
"Oh, what
Brittany-
is she doing? Let me also do that terrible thing."
What I want you to do, Brittany, is I want you to find some red contact lenses and put it in the pup's eyes when Jared's not around, so that he comes home and the poodle actually has red eyes like that. Did you look for the fireball in the freezer,
There's
woman?
no fireball in the freezer, husband.
So if I go find it, what do I get?
Whatever
not a
you want.
damn
Oh,
thing. You get
oh,
a
oh,
bottle
oh,
of Fireball.
I'm gonna find it right now.
Hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
You know, this is happening. I'll find it.
when you buy a dog and then you go about giving him the worst haircut imaginable, it doesn't really doesn't come off right.
I always thought the hair grew that way.
No, poodles actually do have hair though. You have to like cut it regularly. It's not like they don't shed. They don't have fur like other dogs.
You thought that a poodle's face grew like an 80s porn movie?
Well,
Just like that
What?
big ball of fuzz with like a dick coming forward. You thought that-
What are you talking
Right,
about?
your knowledge of 80s porn movies is just
yeah, I was
staggering.
gonna say,
Okay.
dude. Well, I don't know what you've been watching.
I came of age in 1989.
It was a good year.
It was the decade of the
year.
bush.
No, that was the decade before.
Oh gosh. So what? You guys planning a trip to Sturgis next year or what?
We're batting it around.
We're probably too late for that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably-
you
Hey,
know.
Dustin, I think we have a place to stay though.
Oh, we do.
We have a place to
We
stay.
do.
Monkey's
Mr.
RV?
Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson out in Waynesville.
Yep.
Yep. He's got a place not too far. He said we can crash there. Free room and
Yep.
board.
So
a
it's
good
like
time.
if you don't get your hotel like a year in advance,
It may have
what the
only
fuck?
been that big, but I found one, so I win.
Wow.
What are you going to do with that?
That's disappointing.
You know what that is? A
That's-
bottle of Fireball in the freezer, so I get whatever I want.
So this is what I brought, and this is,
Yeah, that's very you don't
I'm
bring
just
that to
saying.
the party.
are you really gonna drink the cold one?
No, I'm opening it for you, darling.
Oh.
Just
Yeah,
take
Mike.
it. Shut up. God damn it, woman. I'm telling you.
I don't know, Tony.
Shut up.
I don't think a hotel's even doable, man. I mean, I paid. I think we were there 4 nights. I think I paid $1,400,
Where? When? What?
at a
Wait,
fucking
wait,
Best
wait.
Western.
Wait,
Out
wait,
in,
Oh
Jeez.
no, yeah, you're like
Out in-
$375 a night.
Yeah,
during
that was
the
out at
high point.
the Badlands out in
I
Wall.
can't afford that.
Is where we stayed. We stayed there and rode out.
No.
So yeah, a Motel 6 is going to run you $325.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll
There's
leave
too
there
much
with crabs in
DNA
your
in a
beard.
Motel 6 for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There's
There was
don't take a CSI light in there. I'll tell you that right now.
So the secret is to
Hey, Jim.
do a cabin or an Airbnb and split it among couples.
Yeah.
That's the way to make
Right.
it affordable,
What
right?
you-
Like
If you really want to feel bad about yourself, Tony, is when you take that CSI light up in that Motel 6 and flash it on the ceiling and then try to figure out how it got all the fucking way up there.
Well, some of us are men.
Some of and young. I was young once.
You remember what that's like?
I was young
thing
once.
Honestly, this is actual legit advice. I think one of the best before we had our RV, the best years we had was the year we rented one.
Yeah.
Because of the chip, besides your wristband, right? That's your admission to the campground.
Besides the year we flooded it. Other than that.
That's the same year.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's another thing. If you do this, make sure everyone in the camper knows how to operate a camper, so you don't flood it. But a rental, $2,500. It sleeps 6 people, and you're in the buffalo chip. You're like in the middle of ground zero, right? So yeah, you're paying $350 a head for your wristband, but $2,500 divided by 3 couples ain't bad.
Doable.
And when you consider the $10,000 savings you're going to have from getting a DWI, it's really good. So
the man's logic is sound.
Luckily, what we did that year is we had just emptied the tanks, right? So the tanks were all empty. If you know anything about RVs, there was nothing.
Shitter's full.
Nothing. It was completely empty. And then one of our friends who was staying with us didn't quite flush correctly when she was doing her something or makeup, and it held the valve open on the toilet. And then we went out. When we came back, it had filled the tank, overflowed the tank, and flooded the entire rig.
Oh my gosh!
Spent all night toweling down.
It was something. So in the middle of the night,
did she overflow the pudding tank, or was it the clean tank?
It was just
it was the black tank. But luckily, the black tank had just been emptied and flushed, so it was clean. So there
wasn't any brownback bass floating in the trailer.
Nah.
Yeah, nothing that. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't. It didn't smell or anything. It was just water. But I went out there and in the middle of the night, having been around RVs my whole life, and I was like, keep an eye out. And I pulled that drain plug and like flooded probably 9 campsites. But thankfully, it rained later. So in the morning, I'm like, man, it sure is wet around here. Why is it so wet? Like.
It seems really wet around your all trailers.
Wet, like so wet, like there's inches of water.
Did you ever go out and actually camp there?
Yeah, I tented a lot when I was younger. When I was a stupid
dude.
man.
I'm not sleeping in no fucking tent.
No,
Tony,
no, you're not going to go there on what is essentially your vacation. And if you love doing that, that's awesome. But to go there, it's hot. When it rains, it's awful. When it hails, it's worse.
Like it's been
hot
these last couple of years. So
so you drink
sounds awful.
way too much, and then you're hot in a tent.
Can you imagine waking up in a plastic bag with a raging hangover and it's 108 degrees?
I would rather repeatedly slam my nuts in the car door than do that.
It's pretty much what it's like.
I mean, that sounds like a Saturday night.
But in all seriousness, you've got a town that has a normal occupancy of 6,000.
Yeah.
So when I say there's no air conditioning to be had, I'm serious, man. Like there's like 6,000 people live in this town, and now all of a sudden there's 600,000. There's no
place to
there
go.
aren't places to go cool off. Like if you don't have your own hotel room or RV or something, like you're going to be outside the whole time, and it's hot as hell. So.
I mean, you're not making a good case for going.
No, you just have to have your situation worked out.
Don't go on a tent. Yeah. But do you think the numbers might be a little lower this year because the big 120-year rally thingy, whatever the motor company's doing, is in July this year?
No, I don't think the same crowd does. I mean, I think those that do both can afford to do both.
No.
Like I feel like the average biker that does Sturgis is not going to not do Sturgis so they can go to the 120th in Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not the same thing at all. I've never been. You know what? There you go. There's a perfect example. I've been to Sturgis. I don't know how many times. I've never been to any anniversary in Milwaukee because it's. I would love to do it, but I'm not going to sacrifice Sturgis to do that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going this year. I think it might be fun.
I'd love to do it. I want to do some things I have never done before in that, like in February in St. Louis, there's a show called Cycle Showcase. That's really good. And Dustin, I'm coming in February, unless something happens with my real job where I'm not going to be in the country.
What weekend is it?
It's the 10th through the 12th.
Okay.
So the big day of the show is the 11th, Saturday the 11th. It's a Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl weekend.
Okay.
We do Mama Tried up here, which is another show in Milwaukee, and we did that last year, and we went both in December and the show they did in March because December was their makeup one from the COVID year. And I'll tell you what, the flat track races flat out Friday, and they do that in the Pfizer Forum now where the Milwaukee Bucks play, so it's all indoors. It's in February. It just gives you that, for us at least here in the north, it gives you that middle of the winter, that just motorcycle, all motorcycle fix all weekend. The event is in one of the coolest venues. It's called the Rave. It's like this 4-story building in downtown Milwaukee. We actually stay in a hotel right across from there, which is famous for where Jeffrey Dahmer used to have his hunting grounds.
Oh,
so
that's selling it there.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. But the event is super chill. The bikes are great. Jared's going to have his bike there this year. He got invited to that event this year. So it's a really, really cool event. And for people, if you want a chill event, that Mama Tried can be, I would say it's probably the upper Midwest version of a much smaller version of Born Free. Right, because it's all indoors and Born Free is outdoors, but it's a lot of there's cool choppers and some of the heavy hitters in the industry. S&S obviously is in Wisconsin, so they have a booth there, and but it's all the things you'd find at a outdoor rally, but it's all indoors in a much smaller, more intimate venue, and a lot of fun. We get there on Friday night. We go to the Flat Out Friday races. Eat good food, have some drinks, and then hang out, and then the next day we go to the show, and it's really a lot of fun.
Mama Tried's legit. I've heard of that, a lot of that show, so I'm sure Mama Tried's great. This show, in case anyone's bored in February in the Midwest, is if you just Instagram search CSSTL, it's Chopper Showcase St. Louis, and the dude that runs it actually helped Chris and Heather do Smokeout, do the staging for the show at Smokeout. So this guy takes it so seriously. He was on their show last night, and he was saying, like, every bike must be elevated and properly backlit. And so it's all about giving you that perspective that these bikes deserve, right? Like, somebody handmade this in their garage. You shouldn't be looking at it on the ground on the grass. It should be on a stage with lighting and,
Sure.
And someone else said the other day, it was interesting, when I started talking about my chopper build that we're starting now, someone said, like, well, I hope you're not going to make it a trailer queen. And I'm like, why? What's wrong with a trailer queen? Like, if there's somebody who's really, really talented who can make something that's a rolling work of art, what the hell's wrong with that? Like, it doesn't mean that's the dude's only bike. What I mean? Like, he probably has an old shovel head he beats the shit out of it. But if you make something that's a museum piece, yeah, I understand you not riding it through a mud field. Like, I get it, where it's you showing off your abilities and his or her abilities, where it's all about, the perfect chrome and a special one-off made front end. And, show bikes are okay. There's nothing wrong with a show bike if someone's just showing what they can do. It doesn't mean it's the only motorcycle they own.
Which we saw you had the guys who had bikes
had
on
two.
2 or 3, and they had one on in the show on a stand. They put blood, sweat, and tears into this bike. One of the guys was talking about. He goes, he spent the last year and a half just putting this bike to mint condition. It was some old vintage.
Guy from Slovenia that had built a freaking Buell.
Amazing.
It was a museum
but
piece.
He goes,
but he had an old shovel.
He goes, I don't ride that through especially when we were there. It rained a day and a half, so we were in the mud the whole time.
We disrespected our bikes the whole time.
Awful. We were just dropping them. But there's a bike to play. That's why you don't subtract. You just keep adding on to the collection.
See?
You got something. You got something to ride in the mud.
Again, the perfect wife.
Where is it? Doesn't Sturgis have a motorcycles as art exhibit where?
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael Lichter.
That's Lichter show, right?
Lichter shooting that. Yeah. So the chip.
Okay.
Total fan.
Yeah. He was. I've seen him both times at Mama Tried. The last time he was sitting he was actually sitting right next to us, getting some great pictures. And I was like taking pictures with my phone, and I was like, "Hey, I got the same angle as Michael Lichter, but my photo looks nothing like his."
There's something in that man's brain, and he's also one of the nicest human beings I've ever. Like, it's crazy how like warm and friendly and.
I asked him, "What do you think about this?" Because I love taking pictures just for fun. I put them on the gram, and he was like, "Yeah, try this or backlight this," and he was just a guy with that kind of, history, because he's been filming. Talk about old biker rallies and quintessentially biker pictures. It's Michael Lichter. Like, he's taken every great shot of every rally. Topless chicks to beautiful bikes to burnouts,
strapped on a bike backwards at 80
miles
an hour. Right?
They say he's ridden more miles backwards than a lot of people have in their forward.
That too.
Well, he like hangs. I mean, it's shit ain't safe. Like, there's photos of him taking photos. Like, that's not a good idea, but he does it. Like,
what Dustin does for fun, he actually takes pictures. Mike the Lichter takes pictures.
Right.
Yeah, so he does an amazing job. So, but a nice guy. But that's the thing about Sturgis. You'll see they have the showcase bikes, and then you'll have the burnouts. Then you'll have, and that's what I liked about Smokeout also, which kind of made it feel like an old rally, is that you had the really nice bikes on showcase, and then you had the guys doing the burnout pits and the races. It just felt like you had a little bit of everything there, which made it was like a call back to an old time. I
have never had so much fun.
Oh, man.
So buried in mud that you physically could not ride your motorcycle for 36 hours. Like, I've never had that much fun stuck in one place, because there was 4 to 6 inches of water standing in that field.
Wow.
Like, you couldn't get your bike out. Like, it was just, if you tried to ride at 6 feet, the bike would just come out from under you. And next to us was that group of a close group of friends from the North Carolina area. Half dozen of them were active duty Marines. Those guys ain't right in the head. Like, I was raised by a Marine drill instructor. They ain't right in the head. And you had these dudes that were like 30 years old with 15 years in.
Naked.
Yeah, 10 years in.
Naked.
In their underwear, doing burnouts and their choppers in the water. It's just nuts. Like,
get something caught in the chain there.
Burnouts are way too expensive now. Tires are not cheap.
There was one actual video where the guy dropped his Sportster chopper in the mud, and he couldn't get it out. There's 4 guys trying to pick it up, and I'm videoing this. And they're all like, "Stop, put down the damn camera and come help us." And I'm like, "No."
You got this.
You figure it out.
I got the camera,
this
dude.
Is awesome.
I'm cameraman.
I'm preserving the
red
memories.
clay.
Locked up the back wheel. We're like clawing clay out of the
Yeah, his back
wheel.
tire was stuck. We got his bike out. The tire was just locked with mud. Like,
Tony would have a heart attack.
I would have a fucking stroke. Actually, I would just leave the fucking bike there and go buy a new one.
Well, there's an upper level you can park at where it doesn't do that, so you'd be okay.
God.
I took the crossbones and I was terrified. They're going to just drop that bike into the net. And, you take care of that. You want to take care of your favorite bike. So I was terrified. But, that's what you do. You had a good time. It felt like an old school biker rally. Great people, no judgment. Didn't matter what you rode or if you rode at all. They were just there to have a great time. And, there was a little bit of something for everybody. So it was a great show. And Chris and Heather put on a hell of a show, so we're excited for next year. So.
It was fun watching Chris stomp around the showgrounds the whole time.
You added audio to this.
I was narrating him, "Motherfucker, goddamn son of a bitch, I ain't doing shit," like just watching him walk around like from place to place, mad the whole time. But that's because they've been working for 6 months to make this happen, right?
Right.
And it rains.
Yeah.
For 3 days for us to be drunk assholes.
I mean, last time Tony had a bike that got muddy, he traded that thing off immediately.
Oh.
It took him a couple of months.
Dude, it didn't get muddy. It got fucking concrete in it. I mean, that's a different situation. I couldn't get it out.
But see, that's a point of pride. You take it to Sturgis, you get some Sturgis dust on it, and then you leave it like that. And then that's what
That's making my eye twitch.
He's having an aneurysm right now.
Oh, if I were to go out and take the seat off the Scarlet Harlot and just show a camera of the like the bike is clean, but
you got to clean that. You got to clean underneath that. Yeah, you got to clean that.
No, that's precious.
You leave it. That's
precious, like buffalo chip dust.
Yeah.
That matters.
I've got tar all over the shock underneath the seat. It's bad, Tony.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Tony, you've been
badge
proud
of
of
honor.
me.
Come clean my bike then, Tony. I mean,
I keep my shit tight.
here.
I keep it tight.
That's what I keep saying. I'm like, I'll just drive to your place and you can wash my motorcycle.
You can wash your own damn bike. You got to keep your shit tight.
You would have been proud of me yesterday, Tony. I spent 2.5 hours. I broke out the ONR and gave my bike a good cleaning before I put her up for a couple.
You broke out the oral. What did you say?
ONR.
He said he spent 2 hours and rubbed one out.
That's
that long.
That's a
because it takes that long.
That's
Ryan.
a very big tailpipe.
Wrap your brain around that, Ryan.
Well,
it takes
if it
that
took
long.
that long, Percy, you should go to the doctor. It might be time for them
Right.
shots. You know,
It was an hour. It was an hour and 55 minutes to get it up, and then 5 seconds, and the rest was the refractory period.
Jesus Christ, we got it. We're gonna.
What if you take
what ONR is? Don't you use ONR, Tony, on your vehicle?
No, what you invested in some detailing equipment, didn't you?
No, I got some chemicals. ONR was one of them.
No. Oh, no.
use the
very happy.
S100 because it cleans everything you can see, and I don't give a shit about what you can't.
Yeah.
S100 works, man. If you just foam that
It does.
bike down
I've
and let
tried
it melt off
S100.
and then spray it off,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Remember when we changed the exhaust on the CBO? We found strange
there was
things.
asphalt on the but you can't see it, so who gives a shit?
Ugh.
I'm sure there was a mouse in there for
A mouse?
That's fine. It's all
Holy
fine.
cow.
Dustin's used S100. That's where I found out about S100 from. Was from Dustin.
Oh, I
Total
got
cycle
S100.
cleaner.
That's good shit. I like that.
It's $20 a can, and I used a whole can on each bike, so it's an expensive detail, but you know.
Some bitches.
But the
tight
point is,
though when
seriously,
you're
if I
done.
can't see it, I don't give a shit.
So you don't like take your wheels off and clean shit when there's nothing to
Take
do?
the wheels
Wheels
off.
Who takes the
Look at it,
wheels
you ain't got
off?
nothing to
That's
do, and-
extreme.
You know, it's raining or something. You're in a garage. You might as well.
What?
Just saying. Shit gets
Why do you
built up in there.
Why do
No,
you take
if it
wheels
rains,
off a
you
bike
ride
that's
it
got
in the rain
100
and the rain
miles
will
on it?
kick up and it'll clean it. What are you gonna take the
Wait,
wheel off?
wait.
You know, just, you know, shit gets in
Maybe,
there,
wait.
man.
Whoa.
Shit gets
Whoa.
in
We
there.
don't
Are
take
you-
the
Look,
wheels
hey,
off.
hey, Rain Man. I mean, like,
It's bad. I'm
If I
not
put it
gonna
up on
lie.
the-
It's a problem.
once a year, I'll put it up on the lift and I'll clean the wheels, take the bags off and clean the wheels. But take the wheels off, like,
Yeah, man, you gotta take the wheels off.
Why?
you know
Why
what
not?
it is? You know what it is? Tony has a little bike. He doesn't have a big
What do
bag.
you ride, Tony?
A Grom.
Lowrider ST. No, Lowrider S. I'm sorry.
No, I'm joking. His Grom got stolen. It's
The Grom got stolen.
What do you
Yeah.
ride? A lowrider ST? Those are nice.
A Lowrider
Lowrider
S.
S.
This is picture
Oh,
this. This is what he does though.
Soft
So
tails.
you have to know because Tony he has a whole routine when he rides his bike so that it's ready to go after every ride. He cleans it off, he fills it up with gas. When he brings it back and parks it in his garage, it's ready to go for the next ride. But what you guys don't understand is that when he does get bored, he goes in the house and he puts on a bikini and he has his own bikini bike wash.
Right.
Wow.
That's what he does.
I tried that one
See,
time.
where
I
I
got
am
my
harder
titties
to
caught in the
walk right
spokes,
now.
and I had to stop that.
That's sexy right there. I'm telling you.
It is.
You put on some sticks, maybe some Foreigner while you're doing that.
Yeah,
maybe,
man.
or-
No, a little white
Yeah.
snake pretend
Little
it's
white
a jack.
Little white
He's
snake.
on a jack.
Hey, I'm a journeyman. I have yet to stop believing.
You don't stop believing? Yeah.
I still believe.
Brittany and
puts
I are
on-
like, what?
he goes a little old school every once in a while, puts a little warrant on, cherry pie, dances on the hood of his car.
Oh, wow.
He
just
ties
saying.
that shirt up in a knot in the front.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no way Tony is
Don't
saying
give it
that.
all
Sprays
away.
himself
Tony. You gotta
off with
keep
the
some for
hose.
imagination.
You gotta keep some just a little mystery there. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's, I
We
don't
go to
know.
rallies and those girls are washing bikes. No offense, God love them, but I'm always like, "Oh, you want to wash your bike?" I'm like, "No, because you're gonna do a shit job." like
You're
no,
gonna put streaks in my paint. God damn it.
that's right, exactly. You ain't gonna do a good job. Now, sometimes you see them when they're serious about it, but like for the most part,
About
no.
the wash at the bike. Yeah.
you know, whatever about
Yeah.
the. I mean, like, I'll give you $20 and you just stand there.
So Brittany, tell me if that's not the the pinnacle of feminism to be able to go to a bike wash and tell a woman, "Hey, bitch, go ride my bike. Go
Go
clean
wash my bike.
Like I just love to roll up and I go, "Hey, you missed a spot on the bike. Yeah, don't forget that." And just stand there. And go, yeah, okay. I mean, you got to, right?
She says every year she wants to go to the Buffalo Chips where the bikini bike wash is. She goes, "I want those girls to wash my bike and I'm going to make it rain ones on them." Like,
Make it rain.
you're gonna ride
Like,
it.
that's
They're
the
gonna clean it.
ultimate in feminism right there. Wash my bike. Like,
Wash my bike, damn it.
Bradley was saying experience with Sturgis with the small child back at home and how you made it work.
honestly, in 2015 was the first time I went since the little one was born. So I took a couple years off.
Yeah.
And she said, because she's perfect, like she's like an uncommonly like we're partners, right? And all this stuff. She's like, just go to Sturgis, man. Like, I got it. Just get out of here. Because she has her things that she would do through the year. So in 15, I went to Sturgis alone without her or the child. I flew up. So one thing we did is my old man pulled both our bikes and I flew up. So I was just there for like 4 or 5 days and rode. And then he stayed a little longer and, came home later. So I think you just have to commit to the fact that if this is something that's that important to you, that you're gonna have to make sacrifices for each other. That's all there is to it, and she knew what this rally meant to me and had since I was 13 years old. So she was like, go to Sturgis. And then 16, I skipped a year. And then in 17, my mother-in-law watched the little one and we went together. And that was her first Sturgis, was 17. She hadn't missed one since. But
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So I like going about a couple days or a week before, because you get all the experience of the vendors. You get, you see the city just grow in a matter of days, but you also don't have, the idiots aren't there yet. So the guys who go to Sturgis, and
the guys in the
girls,
freaking bejeweled pants and the white flip-flops and white sunglasses on a goddamn CVO.
They've never put 100 miles on, but now they want to put, 600 miles on on Iron Mountain Road, They don't know what a right turn is, and all of a sudden they're doing corkscrews and things like that. So
dude passed me.
Yeah, you avoid those guys if you get there early.
Bejeweled pants, you lost me on those.
A dude passed me this year, and I was like, if I catch him, I'm going to shank him. Like that's it, like, right? I was, I am from the opinion that you, Tony, don't get excited.
I'm not.
But you can scissor. If you know each other, right? Like you can ride on each other's lane, and
you can't scissor a stranger.
You can't scissor a stranger.
It's in a lane, right? So
why did you need the hands? Why?
Because Tony's a simple man.
I'm
We're up the
not
same line.
saying anything.
I'm just saying.
This is like starting a fire.
Right. But when I say scissor, Tony's like, I need a moment. So I'm trying to,
take the wheel off my bike and
Jesus, take the wheel. So if you have a group of friends that you ride with, riding in the same lane, scissoring past, whatever is fine. So I'm in the left track, and I can't remember why, but we had left that right track kind of open. And this friggin' douchebag, when his bejeweled pants on a custom street glide, he had obviously bought that way. Like he didn't know anything.
I wouldn't think you'd want to scissor somebody with bejeweled pants on.
Well, I mean, $20 is $20.
Just saying.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it is. But you get something hung up on it.
But on 90, we're heading back to Sturgis, and this guy blasts past me like he's going 105 and I'm doing 80 in my lane. I'm in the left track, he's in the right track, shoots past me. And I look back at her and my dad, and all three of us are like, I don't know you, dude. Like, and he actually cut past and shot past, and sort of the pack kind of pulled back together to the right. And you could, how you have eye communication with everyone in the group you're all riding with, and everyone's going, we're going to kill that guy if we catch him.
That was a
and
strong
we got
dick
off
move.
The exit to go to the chip on Pleasant Valleys, that gravel road, and we pull up the ramp. And he's sitting at the top waiting for someone, and we all gun the gas like, we're going to get him. Like, we're all running up the top to get this guy, and he turns left last minute. Like, but you that's one thing I think is irritating as hell is you do have amateurs that I think they saw a TV show or a movie and decide, well, I'm going to ride in the same lane as someone I don't know. And that is not okay. Like, you just don't do that. I don't know you.
If you get there early, you could bypass a lot of that. So.
Yeah.
But
after.
Yeah. But if we have
there's people showing up when we're leaving too.
With the scheduling issue, usually I'll leave a couple days early. I can only stay a few days anymore because they changed the schedule, and he'll stay the full rally, and then we just you got to make it work. If it's important to your partner, you got to figure out a way to make it work.
It wasn't Bry. There's a joke about shanking Bry. It wasn't Bry the biker. I'm going to shank Bry, but it'll be in person, not like on the
So So
Brian has a price on his head.
Stop.
So we gotta jump off here pretty soon. But you had said that Sturgis has meant so much to you since you were 13. When do you bring your kid to Sturgis?
Never.
When is that going to start?
I've said latter teen years, but I've said that I would be the week before.
There goes that perfect wife rating.
Look, if you have a son, you bring him whenever you want.
Right.
But your girls.
But we actually just spent the whole day saying it's not as bad as it used to be.
No, it's not a safety issue. I just, it's the things you see and you want to enjoy it also. It's your vacation. It's your one time a year.
Sure.
Once or a couple times a year where you could go and just have a good time alone or with your spouse, whatever. So do you really, we used to say,
okay, you're coming back in line.
On a pole. You got a bunch of girls dancing on a pole. Do you really want to stand there with your kid next to you? I don't think
no,
that's
you don't.
I got they need to know that
the
there's
situation.
Listen, I have 2 daughters. They need to know there's options out there.
You know what?
No,
college is
dude.
expensive,
Don't even
Ryan.
go
You got to
there,
set
man.
some foundational,
Then get up there and set an example for them, Ryan. You got to go up there and show them how it's done. Then
And motorcycle parts are expensive. If I got to show my butthole, I will.
I actually do feel like our little one is so incredibly level-headed and stuff that I'm not worried about that. I can just see my daughter go, well, how does Sturgis go? It's like, well, Dad shot a guy when he said to pull my top up. It's there's a thing there. Hey, Jared, you got a little something on your forehead. There's a wet spot right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's T-Bo Baggins.
Boy, he bounced quick.
No, but in all seriousness, I could see going the week before. We talked about when to go.
Yeah.
I could see going the week before with my daughter, riding all the rides and letting her see before it gets crazy, and then sending her home, and then me having the whole week. You know what I mean? Like, I also really believe in letting her see these things so she's prepared for it in life. Like, did you get what I'm saying? Like, I think that an incredibly sheltered young lady can have a rough time in those environments if she's not prepared to go like, hey, dude, how about I freaking break your neck for talking to me like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she needs to be ready to come back and straighten them dudes out. So,
and I think most guys are. I heard you guys talking about Dudo, and she's right. I don't think we've ever had an experience. We've had more issues in places like Leesburg than we've had at Sturgis.
True.
I've never had anybody step out of line. You get more cracks about like, oh, did you ride that? No, I carried it on my back. Of course I rode it here. You saw me get off the bike. Like, what? Little
that's
cracks
always
like
amazing
that.
when a dude asks a woman rider, like, did you ride that here? Like, well, how the fuck do you think I got here?
That's a big bike for you, lady. And
I
I'm
pushed
like,
that cocksucker.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I've never had anybody step out of line to the point where they didn't realize, okay, you know how far you can go with a person. So
Bagger Baiter's asking when the sister is going to Sturgis.
She wants to go. She's
Bagger Baiter.
For the
that is a strong name.
Yeah.
So. That's really close to masturbator.
That is a strong name. Well done, sir. well done, sir.
Well, TJ, we have to thank you again for coming on and being a part of this live stream. It's been too long since the infamous Professional Monkey and Mrs. Monkey have been on a live stream with the 5 Dirty Bikers. It's always a great time for us.
Sorry for crashing.
I said
crashing.
Yeah,
no
crash at all. You didn't crash at all. I said I was going to get arrested tonight. So far, they haven't shown up to my house, so they're probably waiting outside.
Tony, make your light turn blue and red.
Oh wait,
to show it up.
Oh yeah, they're coming in hot. It all went south when the scissoring came out.
Gotta find your ass.
There's the poodle.
No, that's Jared. That's not a poodle.
Why were you so close to his ass, Jared?
Why the long face?
Yeah, see, when you say I have a poodle, that's not what people picture.
See, this is what they look like.
And they're awesome, man. Standard poodles are great dogs.
That's why I was close to his ass.
He says he's getting real close to the dog. That's why he's so close to his ass.
So close to his ass.
Man, you can stay away from the balloon knot.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Now, Ryan, you were pretty tame tonight. I think you just found out what they do to you in county if you go.
You're not wrong.
Well, here's the thing: if you guys are going to sign off, which I think I get it, I think I might sign on afterward.
Oh, he's on a roll. The fireball got him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You know what? When you wake the devil up, he kind of needs to stay up a little while. So
Atlanta, then he gets.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just saying.
I'm just saying all I'm saying.
Just saying.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining the live stream. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Remember to check out our autism bike build that's going on right now with Mr. Jared Weems and all of our awesome sponsors. Getting really excited for that, especially for the unveiling and what that thing's going to look like when it's done. It's going to be amazing. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on the live. Have a good night.
All right, it'll be on our channel in a minute.
Go to
I'll send you all a link if you want to join.
Boom.
Nice.